So let me ask you this. Take just a couple seconds of your day. Just drop everything you're doing, your screen, your phone, and just think. Do I know who I am? And just wait for something to pop up. And let's ask, do I know where I'm going? Do I like it? Or do I even would like something else? Because knowing who we are, it's part of the spiritual journey, it's part of being in your balance, it's part of maturing. But at the same time, we all of us at some point in our life have asked ourselves, who I am. And this is the $1,000,000 questions. So let's just explore. And I would like to ask you to drop all what you think it is and what philosophy and religion and society and Google says that the I am it is. And we can just explore what it feels like for us and how that can serve us to become unlimited and open new potentials and just like to change direction. And let's just go into, do we really know what it is that I am? Besides what we have read and our mentor, or when we go to therapy, or what we have read before, and just open up to a new perception because this is all about being unlimited, trying to find a new way to perceive things. And this is the I am. The I am, it's where you look from. But I'm going to explain what I think it is. Because I think in reality, we don't know, right? We'll theorize about things. Science says one thing, psychology says one thing, and even science says related to God. Let's just explain it. We cannot prove that exists, but we cannot deny that it doesn't. And this is, I think, a quote for Alan Watts. So the fact that we cannot prove it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think we cannot prove that because it's an infinite energy. This is the way that I understand it. So we need to have infinite minds or infinite understandings. And perhaps by just trying and practicing this in a limited way, we can get into not being the FBI about who it is the audio presence, but more of like, what does it fit for me in this moment in time in my life? Who I am and how that I am frequency can help me to expand. And let me take you this into this story that maybe you know better than me, but you have heard probably about stories in the Bible. And I'm just going to mention a short one. Moses talking to the bush that wasn't burning, and then the bush representing God, that I am, says, assign him a duty and then go and tell them that God sent you, right? And then he asks, well, then who sent me? Because we know in the Judeo Christianity tradition, God has like, I think, 72 names, right? So what is the name of who sent me? Because normally we said, oh, that person wants you to know this, right? You refer the name of who you're talking to. So that bush says, I am all the I am. And I imagine that if I was Moses back in time, I would say, like, what does that mean? Sometimes you ask something. I remember the first time I read Plato. I was in university and I would read and I would say, I don't get it. And it was from homework. And then I need to read it again. And then probably 7 times to just caught a glimpse of what he was talking about. Because I was probably 18, right? I didn't have the cognitive ability to comprehend that knowledge yet, but it was at least something. So I imagine that he will just stumble like, what does that mean? I mean, how do I explain that? So imagine the level of faith to go and say that if that actually happened. But we're not going to get into that debate if it exists or not. Let's say that just as a metaphor for unleashing the bounds within and then exploring all that you can be. So in the same semantic, if we go into the perception about science, then science will say that the brain will exchange patterns of light pulsations that are our thoughts, and those will travel through your nervous system and will manifest as feelings, and then you will have emotion assumptions. What does that mean? Emotion assumption, it is something that anchor in you as the predominant energy that you feel with that situation happened. And that could be something positive or not. Like, for example, maybe you smell cinnamon and that reminds you eating cookies with your grandma. And that was like, oh my God, it was just like such a pleasant time. Or maybe you watch something and then, oh my God, I remember when I went to Switzerland. It was beautiful, magical. So sometimes everything will conspire in your senses to anchor a piece of experience in such a way that it remains until the end of your days, for good or bad. I remember that grandma will say the same stories over and over before she transitioned. But what about the negative ones? And this is the ones I wanted in the beginning for you guys to drop. We all have all those stories that are conditions because something happened and it was perceived as if, I don't like it, or it was scary, or I get upset, or I felt rejected, or whatever feeling that in your body it was like a no restriction sensation. And that is imprint. Maybe it's a situation when someone says, "Oh, you were so stupid, just like your father," and then just like, ugh. Maybe you were eating limes, and then just citrus remind you like, I'm just not good enough. And this is how we're building who we are. And if we go into psychology, we know who we are because people tell them, you're a boy, you're a girl, you're a Christian, you're Catholic, right? We are from Mexico, or whatever is your story. This is your name. And maybe you will say, I don't like my name. Well, this is what your birth certificate says. This is who you are. And then we build a story. The school, what you study, what you do, your resume. But is that really who we are? Just that's it? Or that could be more. And this is being unlimited. At some point, I remember in my life when I was choosing the career, what I wanted, that I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do the rest of my life? And I'm sure you guys have asked yourself that. Do you want to get married? Do you want to have stability? Do you want to just be wild? What would you like from your life? And for me, I was between different choices. And then I went into psychology. But now that I go back, what I'm doing here with this job that I have in Encoded Frequency, I'm able to do a piece of every career I wanted when I was 17. And then when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, I don't think my mind was able to put together the career that will allow me to be psychology and then psychic and then design and then artist, and at the same time knowing about a little bit about publicity. And it was just a piece of every career I wanted at that time. So this is the I am. This is all you could be. I could just be a therapist. I could just be a mystic. I could just be an artist. I could just work for publicity for others. I could just be one thing. But what if I could be a piece of everything I want to have? And maybe this is like the million dollar questions on a spiritual persons. I want to be in my mission, but I'm a doctor, right? So I started in a hospital. It's a very good money, but I feel like I'm not helping because I could read people auras and then I'm psychic. So I want to quit. I had that in a session. I said, okay, you can do that. but are able to, it's not like pay the price, but it's like adjust what you earn, what you do to be like psychic, that you may not earn the same thing because you want to explore. And then when I simulate that scenario, then she said, oh no, she wasn't willing to go and take the security that she had for years, just like to said, you know what, I quit. And then I say, why you have to quit? I mean, you can go Saturdays and volunteer in a place. And why do you think you are not doing your mission? I mean, you're a doctor, right? It's just like, this is where we limit ourselves. I mean, I said, you help people all the time. And she was investigating in, in a lab. I mean, medicine that will cure disease. I mean, that's amazing. And that will serve, but at the same time, you can be psychic and you can be mystic. And I know persons that I met a judge that she could see Akashic records. I found that so amazing because she said, I am listening to the lawyers, but I'm going through the Akashic records, and this is how I know who's guilty and who's not. And I said, oh my God, that's so awesome, right? And then I read another one, and then this person was an investigator for military, and then he said, we use both ways. Someone will broadly go, my client, and another one will use computers. And guess what? We have like 90% accuracy. And I said, like, so good, right? And sometimes they could do those missions without risking lives or anyone. And I said, oh my God, yes. Right? So there are persons that I have met thanks to this job that you seem that they have it all. And I'm saying that they have perfect lives because every life will have a challenge, even if it looks perfect in social media. We'll be asking something. I also met another one. She was working for the United Organizations in New York, right? She was the representation of her country, like a small country in Europe, those that you always find princesses in movies. And I was like, good, right? I know another person, he's so psychic that like, he works in Wall Street, has lots of money because he uses his psychic intuition to know where to invest. And that's super cool. So there are persons doing amazing things, using their intuition to serve their lives, their family, and at the same time, society. Equally, you can go as a mystic side, like I did, and explore that if that is what you want to do and said, you know what, I just want to go wild. I'm ending with this matrix. I just want to see what feels like. And that's a valid answer too. And when I replan this question myself and say, but what if it work out? I go back to what I had, right? But at least I have the what if explore. So at the end, the I am, just think about it and open out from this perception. The I am, it's the sense of I am that's always there, and we just overlook it because it can become a religion. And sometimes in a spiritual, you don't do that. And once I said, hold on, I quit religion because I want to do whatever I wanted, right? You're not going to tell me that I cannot do because I feel guided. And this is where we limit our experience. Maybe you can do that and say, that person was right. I didn't feel right. And that's okay. But the experience, who we become, this is what the I am is. And maybe we are not going to agree on a definition because who can define the infinity or the omnipresence of you? But that overlooking is what get us into get hook or block because we ignore the options. And I see these in sessions. People said, I don't hear my guides. And the guys are saying, same here and oh, right? but the person see numbers and feathers and coins and dreams. And then you said, yeah, they are speaking. You guys have a communication, but not in a way we think it is. Sometimes we got stuck into our own story about how it should be, that we're not open to look into the door that is already flowing and that it's working for us. And if we go back to the I am, just right now, hear my words, close your eyes. Or if you're driving or anything or working, just have a sense of awareness. And all of those stories that you have heard before or what you are making right now, just place them aside and take just a moment to ask, is it in your brain? Is it in your heart? I mean, do I have a soul? And where do I feel it? Because if it's all the I am, then someone could say it doesn't exist. It's just your voice is speaking through the microphone, it coming to my headphones, and it's just all wired. And you are wired to have that experience, being an unbeliever person. And that's a valid question too. But what hears? So this is the question, and I'm open to learn from you guys. So whatever that it is, that is you, that's consciousness, that's awareness, that's the awakening of all that I can be. But at the same time, let's forget about what I think or what I feel or what I know, because it's energy and it's too gentle. That's why sometimes we don't hear our guidance or intuition, because it's a gentle voice that speak between the you can, he lie again to you, that person will betray you, I don't think that's the right way to invest right now, you should not quit, that's a safe job, right? And then we just got into anxiety or stress because all of those voices just cannot make peace with it, and they're all part of who you are. That overlook is where I think, at least I do sometimes, let myself guilty, lose my center. And that's what I said. I need to set, okay, hold on. I need to just go back to where I feel I am. Because I don't think I am my body. And I don't think I am grow too. I think I am more. It's as if a tree will be defined just for one leaf or one flower. And it isn't. Even of how majestic they are, they have beautiful roots that we don't see, and lots of things making happening inside, and maybe animals and biology and a lot of things, and changing from oxygen to carbon dioxide. I don't know how to pronounce that, but you guys got it. So there is a lot of things that I don't know, that it's okay, because I think it will be overwhelming to remember everything. So thank God we have to our memory. But then the idea is that we make, this is what I think, the best choice with what stays in my longer memory so it serves me. And maybe I can have the voice that says, you did it wrong last time. But then maybe another voice, kind of like the devil angel and then the good angel. And then the good angel maybe will come and say, yes, but maybe failure is just the part of me that wants me to know better. So what if I can try again and just explore, if this time it's not about being successful, it's about the journey, right? It's about enjoying, because life did not end like in the Cinderella story when you met the Prince Charming. It was just began the story about the marriage, right? And then you will really discover if he was a good prince or a bastard. But this is what makes life worthy. At the end in psychology, if you look for the statistics, whoever don't merit are going to be less happy than who merit even if they got divorced because you tried. And then going to the example that I said on a video about going to a restaurant, it's hot, too expensive, too noisy, smells here, so you don't eat. And how many times we have passed opportunities just because the voice says, And I'm not saying that you should listen to that voice because maybe it's something that we have to observe and pay attention and then choose if you should do it or not. Not every idea maybe should be experienced, but just keep opening to what will make life worth it, including what wasn't right and what feels a failure and an error and a mistake. Because if you add the equality between the wrongs and the rights, then it feels like I was good, right? Even though, yeah, there's a couple things I could have done better, but at the end, I feel like okay with it. I think that at the end of my life, that would be like, yes, I can go. Whatever that it is in the other side, because you see these and we think this, and maybe we know what is in the other side, but it's all about how your brain rewired it. And just the fact that maybe feeling we're broken or depressed or wrong, sometimes it's just rewiring your brain. Like when, for example, I have a niece, she's autistic. So just because her brain doesn't know how to adjust the language and the sound like normal people, 99% of us, doesn't mean she's wrong. She's just one in the wrong level, probably, right? Because we haven't figured out exactly how to assist her. But it doesn't mean she's wrong. We're just not in the same resonance. Yes. And this is all about being unlimited, finding your resonance, and then allowing yourself to go within, but at the same time, go without. Because we have this silly idea, including me, that you can feel lonely. And you know what? You feel more lonely when you are with persons than when you are really alone because you're not justified. At least when you have no one, you said, well, it was my luck, right? It was bad luck, that's it. But when you have persons that you don't connect and you feel lonely, it's like, right? I have with which I can connect, but it feels as if I'm not. But in reality, we're not because our energy comes and go. But geology says we change cells all the time, we change hormones, we change oxygen. Otherwise, you wouldn't pick up a flu because someone was sneezing next to you. That's proof. So we're never alone. So this is part of the I am that the Buddha said to Moses, I am all that I am, the I am of the I am. So the I am, it's Moses, the one who hears, the one who asks, the ones who maybe thought Moses was crazy. Oh my God, he's just a fake person, wanting to get our money. The bush and the fire and the consciousness is speaking without identity, just being all that could be. And us going back to debate if that wasn't true or not, Bible is a metaphor, or it really happened, or it was distorted or not. All of those questions is part of what consciousness is. It's just the awareness, what we stream, what we receive. And at the end is you and I, but equally us. Because even if you go to biology, in biology, you recognize if you're in a family that maybe with your brothers, you would share like a 25% of your DNA. I'm not sure exactly the percentage, but I'm just like hypothetically, and then 50 with mom and dad. This is like a soup. But when someone is not good in your family, it affects everyone. You cannot say, here's where I'm wrong. I'm good. No, because let's say that dad loses the job, it will affect everyone. So you recognize that yes, you have to be you, even if you don't think on energy, but things that are outside of us affect you. And that happens when there's a hurricane, or it's raining, or it's hot, or something happened in the world. Everyone is affected. I still remember September 11th. I mean, it was sad. You were watching the news for whatever reason you want to cry. You didn't know anyone there. I didn't know anyone, but you just like have empathy. And empathy is the fact that you it's a system that our bodies, super amazing bodies developed so we can just have a glimpse about what the other person could be feeling through a imprint we create. It's amazing. We don't feel that, but it's unlike to. Let's say that someone is grieving and says, "Hey, I'm going through divorce." You said, "Oh my God, I feel you." So you kind of image what would that feel like, but you don't know exactly what feels like. So empathy is that capacity of us that learn from others' experience and at the same time help us to build community. Because being alone in the world, I don't think that'll be a good idea. Even that sometimes you can wish that if you're an introvert person, but that community, it's also part of the I am. However, the world it is, it's actually being represented. I'm not saying that you are exactly like the world outside, but it is, again, where you look from. And I want to share something that happened to me. I was working in a store, one said mattresses. I guess I was 21, 22. I was just gazing because I'm an airhead, just looking at people passing by, wasting time waiting to go. And then we're two persons working there. At some point, I heard my friend that begins sobbing, and she was like, "Rattle!" And I was like, "What?" Right? I was all in my peaceful moment. And then she said, "I was just assaulted." And I was like, "Oh, we were? We were robbed?" She said, "Yes, with, I mean, pistol and everything, took all the money." And I was like, and that happened behind me because the her she was a cashier and she was like 5 feet behind me in my chair, gazing at everything. At the same time, in the same place, in the same moment, I didn't have that trauma because I was lucky. I was protected. But when she told me, I was like, oh, my heart began to race. I got scared. I feel like shaking. I even said, I'm gonna quit. I'm not coming back tomorrow, right? How many times that or something alike has happened to you? But that proved to me that we can live in different worlds because something that just happened close to you, you cannot be aware because you're not looking. But we go again. The I am, that all of the I am is where you look from. You can look from your security, you can look from your wound, you can look from what happened to you. How many persons you know that they are always talking about the past, missing the beautiful things in the now, or living in the future? But we have no proof that actually can happen, as I said before. So this is the power of who I am. And for that, I have learned my own experience that I have to give myself permission to know who I am and choose who I want to be. Equally, giving permission to see different possibilities about what I perceive from people, for myself, because my self-esteem don't need to be in someone else's hands or the validation of who I can be. I can get feedback from the world outside and maybe learn from it. But at the end, I decide who I am. So we're not maybe the name that was chosen for us. Maybe we're not the religion or the country or the place. Maybe that's part of it. but maybe we are more. So we go back to the question that it was raised at the beginning. Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are? And most importantly, would you like to adjust where you're going? Because otherwise, it's like driving and like this meme that maybe you have seen that like unicorn event that says, "Hey, let's go. Where we're going? Just to the rainbow, right?" But what is that it, right? I have no idea. So it'll be like going into vacation and then just driving like where we're going. I don't know, just know when we get there. Oh, but do I need a bathing suit? I mean, it's gonna be hot. We don't know. We just know at some point. So when we are in that metaphor, it will be like not setting intentions for how do you want life to be. So I think it should be half and half. Half setting intentions about what you think you would like to expand, but at the same time, giving other 50% of what if I just go with what life has to offer to me. And maybe I like that, but it feels uncertain because I don't know that. Yes. So maybe it'll be like, we're going to go to the woods and we'll know which forest we'll like to stay when we get there. But you have a plan to go. We're not in NLP, you said the map is not destiny, right? You are the journey itself, but at the same time, from that perception, you are the map, your destiny. You are the one exploring, and you are the one who create everything. And at the end, we go back to where you look from. So give yourself the opportunity to ask yourself that question. Don't be. It's not about being judged or critique or oh you bad person. It's about being honest and said, maybe I would like to adjust it. And how you adjust it, changing your habits, because what we do, if we have been doing this formula and it hasn't working, maybe changing it a little bit could make a different outcome for tomorrow. So whatever you would like to add something new. That will be the what if that will take you into that unlimited version of you. Maybe I need to wake up 30 minutes earlier and go for a walk or have breakfast so I don't get moody or sleep earlier or whatever that it is. Because at the end, that I am a full that I am is choices. And it's good to make choices because that will give you the reference about what you want and what you don't want. And it takes us to living, but we're choosing. I know that it is this idea that this is the destiny, and I think it's half and half. We have certain destiny, otherwise we have no countries or things, no boundaries. But I think we can always have the capacity to change it. But the change is for the perception, is from where you look from, because it's that is the shift. Sometimes maybe that happened, maybe that mid comment doesn't affect you anymore. You're like, and then you can keep your thing. That is the shift. And that is magic. When you shift in something that is to hook you before and now it doesn't, this is being unlimited because it doesn't restrict you anymore. It's just you are neutral about it. And that it's amazing. So reflect yourself a little bit. Just not like a police officer, but just like what is for me, what do I keep from my day, and what do I release, and what new or adjustment I would like to bring into my day. So I go into unlimited and just explore it in your mind and then see how that goes. And at the end, we're gonna just close with what if the I am and that power is where I look from. And if where I look from it doesn't serve me, then where it would, and just explore that. I want to thank you for your time of your day that's precious from being here. Every episode will be connected, and at the end, we're just learning together and connecting. If you resonate with this, just support it, and whatever way you like it, share, connect with us, and let's see you guys in the next video. Thank you. If you are enjoying our content in the unlimited way, then this information is for you. In August 2023, in Encoded Frequency, we are starting a workshop 4 weeks to activate your abundance. The purpose it is to address each area of your life: spirituality, love, finances, and relationships. At the same time, you can learn more about how to bring that unlimited frequency in every area of your life. Abundance is not only about one thing, it's about all you are, all you can be, and all you would like to redesign for yourself. So if you would like to know more, then visit my website at encodedfrequency.com.